Dragon Center Mall opened up back in 1984, and it is just off of Shepherd Avenue in Scarborough. And today I'm going to take you to this now defunct mall. The first Chinese mall here in North America. And when this mall opened back in 1984, there was not that much of a Chinese community here in Scarborough, and there were not that many options in terms of buying Chinese retail food and goods. There is the Dragon Center Mall here. It's kind of hidden as you walk north off of Shepherd Avenue East here in Agincourt in Scarborough. To the left of me looks like a hot mess of something, but nonetheless, in 1984, this mall, Dragon Center, was thriving. A lot of the Chinese community came here because it became a very popular community hub. So much so that the traffic in this neighborhood became troublesome for the residents, and there was a lot of hate towards not only the Chinese community, but that Scarborough had put this mall here. And the reason this mall didn't survive was several other Chinese malls north of here in Markham, the Pacific Mall, as well as a Chinese dedicated mall in Richmond Hill, took away customers from this now abandoned mall. Although there are some vehicles sitting here, this mall sold back in 2019 to a developer. There were plans to build 2 condominiums here, but still no sign of a new development here off of Shepherd Avenue East. Okay, let's get closer. And this mall actually used to be a rolling rink, and then was converted into this Asian mall. I don't know if anybody can get in here. We do have someone coming up to the door. It looks like he can get in. I'm going to get in too, guys. I want to have a look inside. So there are cars here. Now this mall hasn't been open since 2019, so I don't even know how they got in. Yikes. I'm getting in too. This mall hasn't been used in a real way since 2019. You got a defunct fountain here with plants. What is this? I've never been in here before. The elevator is not in service. I do believe this mall is still in its original state. Well, not really. The wear and tear, look at that. What is this newspaper? I wonder what the date is. Looks like they just up and left. There are still some Asian goods on the shelves. I'm just shocked I got in here. What is this? It looks as though people have just left their stuff here. Perhaps it's garbage. And this storefront looks like it's still operating. There are some ghost signs of a different time inside of this once thriving first Chinese indoor mall here in North America. Oh, that's got to be an old sign. Here it says a washroom. Looks as though there is water dripping into that bucket there. Definitely no one's taking care of this mall. Okay, let's see what the washrooms are like. I don't know if the security cameras still work. I haven't encountered security yet, but I guess these would have been the washrooms. Yikes. What is this? Here is an old picture of what the Dragon Center Mall looked like when it was thriving. Wow. I don't know. I hope nothing falls on my head, guys. Look at that. There's an opening in the roof. Definitely rotting away here in Scarborough. The first indoor Chinese mall, which really started the template for other malls like the Pacific Mall, as well as the Asian malls in this eastern northern end of Toronto, known as Scarborough. I guess are these still working? Snoopy. Was this like a food court? I see chairs in there. What is surprising is that there still appears to be some retail still open in here. What is that? A ghost sign of a food bazaar? More buckets catching the water leaking through, literally leaking through the roof. There's somebody here. It says closing sale. I guess they are going to eventually clear everybody out of here. I don't know how safe it is to even be working in here. Huh? What's in there? Lots of stuff outside of these storefronts. Very vintage stuff. That looks very 80s. Huh. Yeah, perhaps the last of the retail stores in here are trying to salvage what they can in terms of getting rid of the last of their goods. Huh. I have no idea. There looks to be one person still there, still working.
Dated back to the 1800s. Then, without a sound, he melted back into the shadows between the tubes. I ran from Old Gray that night.
Here would have been one of the entrances leading into the mall. Let's have a look outside. The parking lot is now empty. Get back in here. There's an old screen sitting there. I am shocked that people are still trying their best to make a living in here. What is this? 1898? No way. That's like a vintage stroller. Look at that. Look at that. That's a gem. What's in here? Looks like they're just storing their stuff. What is this? Very interesting, all these old paintings. What is this? An old clock there. It appears as though people are just using this as a storage space for now. Yikes. Yikes. This mall has definitely seen better days. Definitely getting deals in here though. Look at this, $35. I think a couple of the retailers who are still here are using the entire mall perhaps to sell what they can. Kind of reminds me of a thrift store. Open from 1984 until 2019. Still no signs of a new development here on the grounds of what used to be a thriving indoor Asian mall. Not a big mall, but a very popular mall, the first of its kind here in North America, in Scarborough, Ontario, the Dragon Center Mall. Wow. Wow, is all I have to say.